Hey everyone, this is Steve Weintraub with Collider, and I'm here at the Campari Media Studio at the Toronto International Film Festival. I want to give a huge thank you to Campari for being our main sponsor. It allows us to cover all sorts of movies and shows here at TIFF like normal. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Awesome,
Good
man.
to see you.
Nice to see you, sir. I really want to start with, I was about to curse. Congratulations on the movie.
We're not allowed to curse?
I can, but I didn't want to be like, holy fuck, but here we go. I so enjoyed this movie, and I don't think audiences tonight are ready for what they're going to see at the midnight premiere.
Hopefully it's a big surprise and it wakes them up and rocks and rolls them, because it's a unique film. It's one of the reasons I responded to the story that Derek outlined and sent my way with it. He sent me like 3 ideas for movies, and I go, that's the one I want to try to do. And because he had this mysterious suspense element for the first part of the film, first chunk of the film, you don't know what's going on in this small town. And then once stuff it starts to blow up, it continues to blow up.
So I don't want to do any spoilers or anything, but like, how have you been described? Because no one knows anything about it yet. I hate asking the generic thing, but whoever wants to do this, how have you been describing the film to people?
Inverted high noon.
You should explain. It's like in High Noon, everyone loves the sheriff.
Yeah.
And in this one, not so many people like the
Not so
sheriff.
much. And in High Noon, it's just him against a few bad guys, and this is much, much worse.
So I'm a million questions for you. Let's start with, what was it about this script and story material that like you connected with it, or like, oh yes, I want to do this?
It was as simple as seeing their names on it, on the email. Here's written by Derek and with Bob in it. I was like, right, okay, well, I'm already ready for this script, whatever it's going to be. And then when I read it, it appealed to me because it was, I've always wanted to do a Western. And this felt like a neo-Western. It's not, it's not proper cowboy hats and stuff, but it has all those elements of the Western frontier town and the sheriff and stuff. So it fitted that. But it's also like continuing on from my working in action from doing something like Free Fire. So I felt like it had a connection there for me, like thematically and structurally.
Talk a little bit about where this idea came from. And I could be wrong, but you guys co-wrote this.
Well, Derek was kind enough to share a story by credit, but mostly because when I read the outline, I saw the dimension of this first act, which is so different from most action films in my mind, because there is a real patience and a commitment to the character of the town, which it sort of gradually gets under your skin as it gets under Ulysses, my character's skin, that something is amiss here, but he doesn't know what it is, and he almost doesn't want to find out because of his backstory. Sure. So that's why I dug it. But
and again, like with any idea, I'm not quite sure where it came from, but I'm a fan of movies, and to me, it kind of. I had watched Bad Day at Black Rock with Spencer Tracy one night, and I love that movie. And then I love movies like Blood Simple and Stepford Wives and Hot Fuzz. And there's something about everything looks a little too healthy here. That means there's an illness underneath, and just started snowballing with this thing. And then when we started, breaking apart the outline and building it out, and then I wrote the script, and then we got Ben. It was all the way to the first day of shooting, and then into the days of shooting. It was perpetually evolving in such a way to, how do you make it better? How do you say less by saying more? And it was a joy, dude.
I don't want to do any spoilers, but like, one of the things that I really responded to, and it's sort of a through line through a lot of the TIFF movies this year, which is how you can understand how people can make bad decisions and get aligned in a bad situation. And again, I don't want to do spoilers for this, but like it's very hard to talk about.
I see what you're saying. I mean, it's like, I think for us, it was that you never, there wasn't necessarily good guys and bad guys, and you were sympathetic to all the characters. And it's right, they're good people who have made bad decisions. And I think and as Bob was saying, like the setting up of the characters and the amount of screen time given to them to develop them was important. That so you didn't feel, that they had been given short shrift.
Sure.
And as filmmakers, we were behind those characters as much as we were behind the Ulysses character to a degree.
But it's also the only reason that I cared so much is because I knew all these characters and I was invested in Ulysses and the different relationships he has with people in the town.
Well,
so,
I think if I could just share my dimension on that, which is that you've got this small town, which I love, Lake Wobegon. It's the middle of nowhere. There's quirky people. They tolerate each other. They support each other. They feel connected, and they're sort of part of a family. But then there's a dark side to this too, which is they have a pact. And how far are they willing to go to protect that pact and that lie or the contract that they share? And in this case, they don't know how to turn away from this contract and take on and destroy anyone who uncovers it.
So there's a cool thing you do in the movie with a gun and a bullet coming out of the gun and you catching it.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about how you...
Well, you can do that in real life. And
if you have time.
It can be done. I could do it. I don't want to say how we did it, but it can be done. And to me, all it does, though, is it's in the course of a sequence of, like, it has a first act that takes it builds steam. And it's just an indication that Ulysses is comfortable with guns and that he is capable of,
And he has reflexes as well.
And he has reflexes. Yeah. And so it's just an indication to the audience, this guy can go when it's time to go. Watch him. But otherwise, you don't see him do anything. He's just a sweet, mild-mannered guy.
Who really doesn't want to be involved.
Who's trying not to be involved. Yeah.
So again, I no spoilers, but you have some fantastic kill sequences in this movie, which again, I was laughing, smiling, and just overjoyed. Really enjoyed this one. Talk a little bit about designing, without spoilers, some of those kills. And was that all on the page? Is that being figured out on set?
I'd say half was on the page. And then as we realized how much fun we were having discussing and planning those kills, it was like, let's do more of them, And there were a couple of times too where Ben is walking through a kill and he looks at me, he's like, that's too much, like that just feels sociopathic. Like this is something Hannibal Lecter would do, that kind of thing. And it was amazing how you'd see like, and then what the fix that Bob or Ben, I don't know who came up with it, was actually, that's better. And what I love about working, I love working with these guys is we will agree and understand and recognize, oh, that's better. Let's do that.
Yeah, but the spirit of it, of the detail of those kills was in the script to start with. It wasn't something that we made up on the day at all. So it's like that, and that was part of what drew me to the script as well. That level of like that tonal change.
Derek wrote that the walls are covered in guns. Yeah. Right. So there you go. But then the final fight sequence, the fun stuff. What is that in your mind? What is that? How do you connect that to other films you've made or that you've seen? When you were making it and planning it, what were you thinking about? Because I'm not as experienced with action films as you guys, but I think of John Woo.
Yeah, definitely.
When I see that.
Yeah, it's difficult to invoke John Woo because he's such a master, His name shouldn't be coming out of my lips, but yes, we do. We were thinking of there's a certain amount of wooishness to it all.
Do you have actually a favorite? I love John Woo, but do you have a favorite?
Well, I went to the Macau Film Festival, and part of going there, I think it was with Free Fire actually, and they said, would you like to program a Chinese movie? And I programmed Hard Boiled. And it was interesting because a lot of the audience, the younger audience, local audience, hadn't seen it. And they were like, oh, God, what's this? And it was amazing seeing it, out there.
For people that don't realize, I'm just looking to look at the camera, but there was a lot of legal issues with John Woo movies in terms of getting it released in America. And Shout believe Shout Factory recently got the rights and are doing 4K releases of
Really?
A Better Tomorrow trilogy.
Yeah,
and The Killer and Hard Boiled.
Bullet in the Head.
Yeah, all of it is all coming to 4K. And so for people that have never seen these films, for the love of God, watch them, because some of these are masterpieces of action.
Yeah, and reinvent action cinema in that moment, going forward. Yeah.
When I saw The Killer and Hard Boiled, my brain melted. Like, I couldn't understand what he was accomplishing, and where the camera and the performances. And
in the UK, they came out at the same time as the Beat Takashi stuff as well. So we saw like Violent Cop and Solentine and all that. It was a real, and I think it was also the same, kind of around the same time as Tetsuo as well. So we saw there's a great big.
So this explains a lot I'm
Right. Yeah. Totally.
I'm finally putting it together.
The first two films I ever rented on tape were Watership Down and Death Race 2000. So that gives you the full picture.
Bob, this has to be a very interesting time for you because of the Nobody movies and this. Is it weird for you to be considered like people now consider you an action star? What is that like for you?
Well, honestly, whether it was doing Broadway last year and getting that Tony nom, or getting to do a couple action films with excellent pros who do this all the time and think about it their whole lives and careers. When I get to do something unique and new, I'm always feeling a little like, am I out of place here? And so it means a lot to me that people who like action like what I'm doing and think I'm doing justice to it. So I don't feel like an interloper anymore. And I don't feel like a dilettante who's just sort of going, see, I can do this too. And you kind of have the pros on the side going, well, not really. I'd like to get the approbation of the pros is what I'm after. I'd like them to say, hey, you did it right. And I hope that with these 3 action films now, I am earning my stripes because I've became very aware on the first Nobody that I was stepping into an arena of professionals who spend their lives doing action, whether it's the stunt teams or Derek or the many directors who do it. My life was devoted to sketch comedy, and I could talk to you about Derek and Clive and Marty Feldman's Comedy Machine and all kinds of obscure sketch shit that I cared about, knew about, learned about, studied. And I want action people. I want to feel that, and I do feel, I think, that I'm getting to a place now where people who love action go, yeah, it's okay. He's legit. He's part of the group.
100%, especially after they see this. Like, if they just thought, if they only see Nobody, but anyway, this is just goes even further.
Good. Good. That's what I'm aiming for. And I don't know, it's a feeling of a responsibility. I respect that people love and care about this voice in cinema, and I'm just not trying to just lift it or steal it. I'm trying to fit in their paradigm, their judgments.
I can honestly say that after people see this movie, they will say, when are the 3 of them working together again?
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure.
I hope so, man.
Soon. Yeah.
We would love to. We're always talking about movies, Derek and I, and we had the greatest time with Ben, and it couldn't be a better director for Normal than Ben Wheatley. And if you watch his movies, you'll know what I mean. It's just the perfect mix of action and comedy and humanity. We got very lucky. Yeah. So
you've heard me ask this before, but I love talking about editing because it's where it all comes together. So this is, I think, like a tight 90. Talk a little bit about when you got in the editing room. Were you always aiming for that? Like, did you have a much longer cut?
No, not really. And what we'd done, the way we made this was to cut it on set as well. So it was live edited. So which helps you a lot with the efficiency of what you're shooting. So we knew what the shape of it was coming out of like the last day of shooting. We watched it back and went, okay. And then it was a matter of like crunching it and kind of managing the tone with it. So yeah, the cut was always going to be, it was written to be 90. And it was basically came in at that from the first cut.
what ended up being, and it's hard to
It was
talk.
being cut on set.
Yeah.
When I went back to watch a take on like, I don't know, what was it, day 8 or whatever, I don't like to watch myself generally, you know, but when I said, oh, I want to see how I did in that, they showed me the scene we were shooting with what I had just shot, which was a close-up at that point, cut into everything we'd shot earlier that day. They didn't show me the footage of what I just shot 2.5 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago. They showed me the scene that close-up was placed into that we had been shooting all day, not
and with
yesterday,
music on
that
it
day.
probably as well, wasn't it? Yeah.
And it was really mind-blowing. What was great for me as an actor was one of the things I worry about is, one of the things I thought I could bring to action was vulnerability. Some action stars are pretty impregnable. They're basically robots that fight and don't feel anything and never get hurt. And I felt with nobody. And now this film too, I can play a human being who is getting degraded as he gets the shit kicked out of him. He's getting weaker and more in pain. And I think it's weirdly a fresh thought in action. And, but sometimes I go too vulnerable is what I think. And so I sometimes do a scene, especially in close-up, and I go like, you're being too weak, you're being too hurt. And it's hard to follow a hero if he's so weak that you're worried, you're really worried for him. You have to kind of be worried for him, but believe he's got it in him. So sometimes I find myself asking to see my footage to make sure I'm not playing it too compromised. And so I remember going on like week 2 to say, oh, I want to see that close up. I think I overplayed the damage. And here it is cut into the scene. I'm not watching that footage I just shot. I'm watching it, the piece, the few seconds cut in. It was amazing. And what was great about that too is that you only need to worry about the 3 seconds they're going to use on screen. You don't have to worry about the whole take you just shot, but you don't know what that 3 seconds will be. And except in this case, I was able to see it actually.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I don't want to call out any action stars that like refuse to get damage in a movie, but it fucking sucks because you just don't believe like it's just not good. Like you need the hero to get hurt so he or she can kick. You know what I mean? Like it's just not
John McClane.
Yeah.
We keep going back to
or Harrison Ford in any
Yes,
movie.
Harrison Ford.
He always looks like he's banged his fingers and he's like, oh God.
No, but 100%. But like you think about exactly like it's just for me. If the person cannot be hurt, what are the stakes? And anyway, that's just I feel very strongly about this. So thank you for being willing to take a punch.
Sure.
Derek, I definitely have to ask you an individual question or two. You are writing and involved in, I would say, like 17 other projects. So what else is popping up for you? Because I was writing it down and I'm really like, what's up with the Hitman TV series?
Oh, dude, that's an old one. Nothing.
Oh, so you're not doing that?
No, I did. I adapted it and I wrote a pilot. This is 5 years ago, but it never went forward. But it was a fun one, man. I really dug that thing. But the big things for me right now is I'm adapting something called Shield of Sparrows, which is a giant romantasy. I know.
That sounds like your area of expertise.
I know, at Amazon. But I read the first chapter and they said, we're only going to you. And I thought they had the wrong Derek Kolstad. But I read the first chapter and was like, oh, yeah, no, I get it. Because I loved the heroine. And then I just have any number of things in States in play. But the next release is I've got Splinter Cell coming out next month on
I was
Netflix.
literally going to say an animated series, Splinter Cell.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's with Liev Schreiber is the voice. And they did a lot of really, really cool things. So it was fun to play in that little puddle,
I really can't wait to see it. Do you want to like tease a little bit more about it?
Well, I mean, as a guy who grew up loving Tom Clancy and then playing and being fucking terrible at those games,
I always used to end up in the corner looking up in the sky.
I know, or I'm out of ammunition or drowning. When they came to me with this, I didn't want to go anywhere in the story outside of, I want to do the old man Logan. I want him to see he's in his 60s now. Where is he? And then you do the classic, like, he's not looking for anything. Something stumbles into him. And of course, just kind of reawakens who he was. And like, even with John Wick, you hear about who he was, you see who he is, and you really kind of hope who he might be. And that's what we're doing with Sam there too. So,
Bob, I actually don't know the answer to this, but do you have anything coming up? Like you're
Nothing.
shooting,
I'm taking a break.
are you really?
Yeah.
Is it weird?
I don't have nothing. David Cross and I climbed Machu Picchu together.
Wait, what?
I know. We're in the midst of all these movies that I made in the last year and a half. David and I went to Peru and climbed Machu Picchu, and we made a documentary. And we have a cut of it now, and we're doing the next cut, which is really, it's about a friendship. It's about a 30-year friendship in showbiz. It's about careers going up and down at different moments, about a comedy team who love to work together. And so we're hard at work on that. Hopefully that'll make it into some festivals.
Can I just ask, how big was that crew?
It was very small. We used GoPros, and we had 2 cameramen and 1 sound man.
Oh, so it's really
very spare. And we, I feel great about it. It's got a great vibe to it.
Does it have a title?
Bob and David climb Machu Picchu. And then I'm going to write my son wrote a pilot, and I'm going to help him prepare it and try to pitch it. It's a great show, somewhat built out of a famous show called The Royal Family from Britain. Do you know this show? Great half-hour comedy from, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. And we had seen it, and Nate had a notion of, it's a different show, but it kind of steals some of the DNA of that classic British show. And so we're going to pitch that, and then Derek and I, and we're going to work on some new ideas. But I'm going to take a break, just finish the doc, work with my son on writing, and just chill out, be with my dog. My dog is 11 years old now. She's a great dog. She got me through Better Call Saul. She got me through a lot of stressful time in my life, my heart attack. She deserves some attention.
I love
I'm going to go
animals.
hang out with her because I really have been on the road so much in the last 8 years. So much. I've probably spent maybe 2.5 years of that 8 years at home. And I'm going to just go be home for 3 or 4 months.
I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Now I'm looking over at you.
Yes.
What are you working on? What are you developing?
There's another film that I shot just before we did Normal, which has just come out in Edinburgh, called Bulk. And that was with Sam Riley. And so that's touring Europe at the moment. So I'll be hopping around European Méliès genre festivals until Christmas, I think.
I have like 2 minutes left, and something I've been doing with everybody is get to know your TIFF attendee. These are very harmless questions. Okay. I promise these are not hard hitting, but it's going to be like a supercut.
Yeah.
What do you each love to cook?
The books.
you kind of win.
Clever. Yeah.
I'm from Madison, Wisconsin, so it's hot dishes.
Sure.
I make a great salmon. Yeah. Various ways. But you can't go wrong with salmon. You kind of can't fuck it up unless you overcook it. But you can eat it raw, so you can't make a mistake there.
It depends on where you buy it from.
Also, a good steak, salt and pepper, throw it on the grill, and get out of the way.
Again, yes. Do you have a favorite food?
Cheese.
Chips or French fries. Yeah.
Yeah. Hot dog at a Cubs game.
What's the last TV show, movie, or book that you've read that you'd like to recommend?
Battle of the Bulge.
The movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Lineup with Eli Wallach.
Let me see. What is a book that I just finished? I'm reading Peter Godwin, Exit Wounds. It's fucking fantastic. Yeah.
Do you, I'm not sure if you drink coffee, but what's your coffee order?
Flat white.
Black.
Black iced tea, no sugar, no sweetener.
Okay. Do you have a favorite band or musician?
Well, I just saw Cage the Elephant open for Oasis, and they fucking tore the place down.
Did you see Oasis in LA?
I saw them in New York, MetLife in New Jersey. Yeah, that was great fun. They were great too. But Cage the Elephant, holy shit, that was a revelation.
Aphex Twin.
Mine is Gordon Lightfoot and Chemical Brothers.
Interesting. And this is my last one, but I love the movie-going experience. I love seeing movies in movie theaters. It's everything to me. For each of you, do you have a really strong movie-going experience, something that like really has stayed with you your whole life?
American Graffiti, the first movie I saw twice in a theater. That was really special. And whenever I watch that movie, I go back to that theater when I was a kid in Naperville on Main Street, the old theater. Well, it's really great. It transports me. It's great.
Predator was my first rated R movie in the theater on opening night when I was 12. And people don't realize how that audience reacted when he takes his mask off. And we were all expecting to be disappointed, and instead the mandibles come out. And then the second one I would say is T2, and everyone just sat there when the credits were rolling going, what? And you felt like you just saw the next evolutionary phase.
Jungle Book, which was the first film I saw in the cinema as a kid, and being in a cinema, seeing a screen that big and waiting for the film to come on, the whole cinema experience was burnt into my brain forevermore. So it's always been chasing that first experience of colour and scale and being little and being overwhelmed by cinema.
I have to stop. I'm just going to say, and I really mean it, thank you for the art for all three. Like, thank you for what you do for movies. I really, really appreciate your work and say thank you. And I know Normal is going to be a smash tonight. You guys are going to have an amazing night. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks.
And for everyone watching, stay tuned to Collider for more interviews from the Toronto International Film Festival.